Hi,
Hello,
welcome
everyone.
to
Not Vanilla
with your host, Roxana.
and Dominique.
And we're the dynamic mother-daughter duo.
That's right. Give me 5. All right.
Today, we're going to be talking about strengthening the bond, exploring mother and daughter relationships. Like we just stated, we're the dynamic duo, mother-daughter duo, Roxy and Nique. A brief welcome and introduction of this episode's theme, relationship dynamics, focusing on mother and daughter bonds, mentioning of tips, insights, and healing collective therapy. So we found a few resources. One of our resources is Healing Collective Therapy. This is for mothers and daughters. We looked it up and researched it specifically for that. But we're going to just be talking about women relationships in general, because I feel like beyond being mother and daughter, we're both women, and we have a relationship. Like, because sometimes I think people get caught up on the hook of the mother and daughter dynamic thing, where it's like you don't remember that this is a woman and you're a woman, and to relate to each other that way.
Yep. And I think to start off, we were just thinking about different little things that are hard and yet unique about motherhood and daughterhood and everything in between. So I think one of the things with being a mother is that instantly you're responsible for this person. You have to guide them. You have to love them, do all the things that, you know, will help them thrive. And you may not have had any kind of model of that. You may not have had any kind of teaching about that. So it really is this whole process of respecting this being that you're entrusted with for the rest of their life, and protecting and also respecting their uniqueness. So in that, I think as a mom, you have to like really do the fine line. Because I remember when you were little being like, why won't this little kid listen to anything I have to say? Like just being strong-willed. But now that I think of it, it's not really strong-willed. It's just that's a human being who has their own wants, their own needs, their own likes and dislikes. And we have to respect that. And I think now parents are more willing to do that. They call it gentle parenting. Have you seen that?
Yes, that's needed.
But it's like, I think that's how we should be. And I think I transitioned to that kind of when you were older, because I remember when you had told me, perfect example, you were tired of going to Patapsco. Do you remember that? And you just thought I was going to buck at you and be like, no, you have to finish. And I was like, I understand. It's okay. We're going to find somewhere else for you that you can finish out your school and be happy.
Yeah. I think that it's important to build upon these relationships and really learn the different tips and tricks that help you get to that point with your parents, but with your mother. Because sometimes I feel like moms have that burden and more responsibility of the child. But I came to both of my parents with my truths, like about a lot of things, because I had that trust with them. Like, because you were that type of mother, I was able to tell you things and have that trust that you were going to actually listen to me. Where other people are like, what, you snitched, you told your mom. Where it's like, well, my mom's listening to me. She's not thinking that I'm wrong or thinking that I did something wrong by telling her this information, whatever it is. So I think building the trust is really important, and having that open line of communication, of me being comfortable telling you that. Because the thing with my old high school or Patapsco was that it was just a lot to deal with in an environment, and not to navigate in an environment where you don't feel seen and you feel like you're doing the best that you can do.
Yeah.
And you know that it's like, what? And instead of telling me I could do better or try harder, she was just like, I do want you to just be happy, because you tried for 2 years, you went there 9th and 10th, and then I ended up going overly, and finishing out my high school there, and I had a blast. I wasn't worried about the same type of things. I was able to just complete my schoolwork. I'm still in the band. I still got a scholarship for the band. I still built upon my skills. I made even more friends. So it was just a way better experience, and I can't even imagine if my parent or my mom were to keep me in that school. But it's even beyond that. We're talking about a whole bunch of different things.
Yeah. And so we're even going to have more than just this episode on different relationships. So this one is going to focus on us, but yeah, we're going to have different relationship angles and really dive deep into it, because I think we all need help with that. And think about it. If your relationship with your mom is messed up and it's dysfunctional, that you can't talk to her, you didn't get the support, how are you able to show up in different spaces and be a friend?
Yeah.
How?
That's the truth.
Right. And even like your relationship with your siblings is affected if you have a toxic parent or a parent that was aloof, which is kind of toxic to your spirit, man. Maybe that parent could have paid for all your stuff, made sure you got to everywhere on time, did those needs. But if you had a mom that wasn't there for you, I think it causes so many other things, because we learn the whole relational thing from our mom, not so much dad, mom. Why do I say mom? Because that's the one that feeds you. That's the one that you're coming to anytime anything is going on, that your mom, even when you're little, it's, oh, feed me, oh, do this, I'm upset, I'm angry. But and then even when they're in school, your mom is usually that person that you're telling, this is what happened during the day. And I remember a lot of times you would tell me things that happen to other people, things that happen to you. So it's like how the mom responds to that and supports.
And because of the way that she responded and supported me, it never shied me away from telling her stuff. I don't know if she did that purposely or not.
I was ignorant.
But even now, I remember, because actually, this is just an example that I have. People will say, or mothers will be like, oh no, I don't have a bad child. I have a good child. And they say you do that so that you reinforce that good child instead of berating them all the time and stuff. And my mother did that. Y'all was bad as HE double hockey sticks. And she swears up and down that I wasn't. I feel like I was, but she makes me feel so good about myself, because it was like I was trying to be a good child. Even though I maybe made my mistakes and did X, Y, and Z, I always probably came to her with my X, Y, and Z's and mistakes, because she never made me feel like a bad individual. So I think that's actually really, really important in how you guide your child and how you're saying certain things to them, specifically when it is a mother and daughter, because that daughter or that young woman is looking up to her mother, to what to be like, how to be, and how to decipher things and stuff like that. So that's why I'm able to be the type of friend that I am. Like my mother said, that's why I'm able to be the type of sister that I am, because of the type of friend and mother that she was to me when I was younger. I was able to express those things. I was able to do those things. But I wanted to read here from Healing Collective Therapy. The unique bond, the mother and daughter bond, is considered unique and dynamic. That's why we're the dynamic duo. Unique and dynamic, often shaping both individuals profoundly. It is essential to understand the nature of this relationship in various stages to foster positive connections. The following points highlight some aspects of this bond. Deep emotional connection. Mother and daughter share deep emotions, often developed at birth and strengthened throughout their lives. Role modeling. Mothers serve as a role model for their daughters' perception of roles, self-identity, and self-worth. Shared experiences. They can bond over shared experiences such as societal expectations of women, monthly cycles, and physical changes. So, and that's just a little bit of why it's such a, unique and dynamic duo. I mean, that it explains it in all of those things that we had already previously said.
Yeah.
That if she wasn't that individual or that type of individual or a person that shut me down or said, you know what, you're not doing this right, I would be a whole different being. I am so open in the way I am because she allowed me to be that way. She allowed me to change my mind and tell her all the crazy things. Like, a lot of people did not talk to their parent about the stuff that I was talking to my mom about. But I only have a good understanding of those type of things because I was open and talking to her about it. Like, they may have been embarrassing, but I was definitely, if I'm embarrassed telling you, you know, it's embarrassing either way. It's like, if I at least got over those embarrassing moments with my parents and talked about that with them, I would have a space. I have a safe space. So just like that. But everyone thinks of it differently, and you do have a different relationship with each of your children. No way is the right or wrong way. We're just saying our unique and dynamic way, and our unique and dynamic relationship. That's all.
I was just thinking about what the first key takeaway for this article is, relationships. Oh, no, that's not the part. Where is it with about a deep emotional connection? Mothers and daughters share deep emotions, often developed at birth and strengthened throughout their lives. So I actually have a whole little story time.
Okay.
I had Dominique at 17, very young. So that's why I say I was very ignorant on how to do that. But I think that was to my benefit because I didn't have a construct of motherhood is supposed to be this, and this. Like, I did, but I really didn't. And I just remember holding that little baby.
Bonus fun note. Mom was pregnant around the same time grandma was pregnant.
Oh, yeah.
So my mother's relationship with her mother was even profound.
Yeah.
That they were pregnant around the same time. So that's what also that I feel like that plays a part into why you said that, you know, you were able to be so comfortable in that and stuff. Because grandma was a good mom too.
Yeah.
She supported you all the way. Like, you know, and loved you no matter the mistake, anything. Yeah. And I feel like you do the same for me. Like, even if I want to mess up, you do that. Sorry. Let me let you continue.
No. But just that, you know, it was an instinct for me. And I know a lot of moms don't have that, but I just remember looking at you and being like, oh my God, I love her so much. I'm going to take care of her like the best that I can forever and ever. But it's like, I think that grew. And then it's like, oh my gosh, she's a little person. I remember when you didn't like that daycare, and she still remembers till now. But I remember Dominique was only 4.
Let me tell the story time then.
Yes.
So a lot of people do, but if you have dreams, or sometimes your dreams are just dreams. Sometimes they are old memories that you don't consciously remember,
repressed,
but they repressed memories that you just remember, you know, and they come back in your dream. So I may have been like, I'll just tell you what the dream was. I kept having this dream of being in this house in Silver Spring. I remember what the house looks like, clear as day. Like, I can take you to where the house is. Kept having a dream that I would go to this house. My mom would drop me off. And when I go in this house, I would sit at this little table or sit in this high top chair. And I'm not going to say the demographic of the lady, but this lady was feeding me food or whatever, and I would just not like the food, and I would just be crying. So I asked my mother, actually, I guess I'm gonna have to say the demographic. And I remember I've had this dream several times,
so repeatedly,
so vivid. And I'm asking her, have I ever went to an Indian daycare? Like, have you ever had me around it? You know, maybe they weren't Indian, maybe they were, I don't know what they were, but in the dream they were Indian. It was like, you never had me at no Indian daycare. My mom kept saying, no, like, that is a dream. Like, you never been at no Indian daycare. I said it in front of my grandmother once, my dream. I said, Grandma, you know, just talking to my mom and my grandma Sanchez. And my grandma Sanchez was like, yeah, Roxana, you don't remember? You don't remember? You did. You took her out of that Indian daycare because they were, every time you picked her up, she was screaming.
No, when I would drop you off, you would cry bloody, don't leave me here too. And you were really independent as a little kid. You loved to do stuff by yourself. So to me, it was like, oh, she's mad because I had to leave her at school. Because I was going to CCBC, and I remember being, not CCBC, Montgomery College. And I remember being like, one day it was like the Lord just tugged my heart that this little girl is doing this for a reason. And you're like, no. And I was like, okay. I took her to school with me because I felt so bad in my heart. And I remember everybody at the school loved you. It was a math class. I think you were like 3. Everyone loved you. And you were like, oh my gosh, can I do the math problem too? And the math teacher, white guy, don't remember his name, was like, you may want to leave. She's being a distraction to the class. And do you know, the students in that class were young, because we were all young. I was 17, like I told y'all. And do you know, they cussed that man out. Like, how the fuck? Like, she's pressed through to get here and you're going to kick her out. That little girl's not bothering anyone. And I was like, oh my God, that's so nice. Like, you know, I did leave or whatever, but it was like I had a couple people come up to me like, no, don't feel bad. Like, he's a jerk. And I told him and we told him. I was like, wow, y'all are, and they were so nice to you. Like, people were like, no, give her my pen. Blah, blah. So it's like, we also need to give space when parents are going through those transition, that they can listen to their kid and be like, something is going on. Why does my kid not like this place? And feel comfortable that they may have to take them to work. They may have to take them to school at that time. And I just transitioned. I made my classes at night.
Mm-hmm.
Grandma and I switched off. But I think we have to trust that our kids are telling us the truth at all times, and until they don't, and stuff happens why kids can't tell us the truth at certain times, and we got to give them space for that too.
Yeah, definitely. Because there was times, I didn't always tell the truth. I definitely lied, but in those times when I was very discerned and very serious, my parents always took me serious, and they always listened. Like I said, with the dream, she was like, Dominic, no, that's never happened.
I did not remember.
And Grandma Sancho was like, that did happen. See, I remember. And I was like, thank you for remembering. So you remember?
You were 3 or 4 because you weren't in school
and
yet.
I was young, but I remember the house. I remember.
And I thought I was
inside
doing
of the
something
house
by sending you there. Do you know that? Like, I had just got like daycare vouchers. So like, oh my God, she's gonna do so great. She's gonna be so happy. And that's why I think we need to really think about childcare in the US, because it's not a good setup. The kids don't like that. Like, you are a very loving child. You like to explore stuff. So it's like the kids need maybe a grandmother like person that loves to hug the kids, that can touch the kids. I remember my sister saying that when my nephew was little, they couldn't help him go to the bathroom. So it's like, well, how do they put? She said, no, you can't have certain clothes.
Well,
they can't retie their shoes.
Potty train. Yeah.
But my thing is, how do kids learn that somebody cares about me?
It's
then?
Because of, now it's gotten to the point of the strictness is because of the different abuses that have taken place in child care facilities. Because I don't know what that lady was doing to make me scream like that, or to make me have a dream. But until y'all, and I'll say this is your deliverance. I stopped having those dreams after the truth had came out. After they acknowledged it, I stopped having those dreams. Like I could let it go.
Did Grandma pray on you? I think
I would say I could let it go now. Like, it was,
I don't
like,
know if she
I
did,
can let
but
it
she
go.
probably did.
And now it's just like, just listen to your kids, but we don't have to. We're not getting in it. That was a great story. That was a great story time.
Thank you.
That was a great.
Glad I could share.
So our next one, the complexity, uniqueness, theoretical perspectives. Explore different theoretical perspectives for mother-daughter relationships. Mention how understanding these perspectives can lead to growth and respect. We there. Because me and Roxanne are very different. we there. We're very different, but we respect each other.
I think we're similar, though. We're
similar?
Very similar too. Even though you don't think that, I think it's more than what we even think.
Well, I am my mother's daughter. I am your daughter, but it's like, I think still
you're very kind.
Our life
you're very outgoing.
Are very different.
Yeah. You had a dad and a house that you stayed at. I think that also helped you be more stable. You're very outspoken, but I think that's how I would have been if I had all that. I wouldn't have been rejected centered, like where I'm like, oh my God, please like me. Oh, I'm going to do all the things. Like, you already had stability, so that allowed you to develop even more.
I think what sometimes she doesn't even realize is that because she was that person for me, I am able to flourish like that. A lot of my colleagues that I know don't have this type of relationship with their mother where they even trust their opinion enough or trust their judgment enough. And sometimes me, like I said, we are different. I sometimes don't agree, but I'll at least tell you and I'll take into consideration what you're saying because I know that I can trust you. So I think it has to do a lot with that because you were a good mom to me. You never abandoned me. You know, you never not listened to my concerns or what it was that I wanted because it was beyond the getting me stuff. You know, it was beyond that. It was more of just the trust. Because I remember some shit. Now this is tea. I remember some shit had went down in the church. Nobody was telling their moms. Nobody was telling their mothers. And I was literally the only one that told my mom, and they were all like, "Why would you snitch?"
They called you the liar, though, and the whore,
it would have been
the whatever.
If I wouldn't have said nothing, you know, what kind of church are we in? If the truth ain't, I don't know, but I know once I had told her that we were all delivered, we could all be delivered and
delivered to a different space
and get ourselves out of that type of situation because it was like. Yeah, it was just really crazy. But
that's like a gaslight. I think that's gaslighting.
And I was young. I was young at that time. I was maybe like 12.
12. You were just now
girls.
Going
It was
into
girls older than me. It was girls younger than me. And they were simply not talking about. And I never threw anybody under the bus. I just told my mom one situation that I thought was like inappropriate to be happening in a church between an adult and a child and all types of other things in between. And that was enough. But I think that's just because of who I am. Yeah. And because I actually care. Yeah. And because my mother actually gave a fuck.
And that's the thing. And I remember to actually start with care has to be the base. She went
to the first lady. And
not to get anyone in trouble, but just to be this is happening.
And the first lady didn't care. So it was like, yeah, she's actually a good person, a good mom, someone that I can go to tell the things to, and action will be placed behind. So.
And I think that's important. Like, how we respond to our daughters telling us stuff. So even if it's sex, if it's abusive relationship, if it's I lost your wallet yet again, like, yes, I'm mad. Yes, I'm mad, but it's okay. It's like, you know what I'm saying? We have to be like that. Like, yes,
y'all done lost my mother like wallet 2 times before going to prom. You know how you need all that money for prom? And she gave me her wallet the first time I lost it.
My mom thought I was a crackhead, by the way, because I had to ask her for money.
I asked for more money again, asked for her wallet again, lost it again. And she didn't even get mad. She was just like, Dominique, I just hope you have a great prom. I hope you have a great time because you done took my money twice now. This is over $1,000 now that you lost. And now you're asking for more money. And I don't know what to do. I'm going to give it to you. So that you have a nice time. But it really was like, dang, I really got a good mother, you know?
Because if not, then how can you come to the person again if, you know, if it's like, oh my gosh, I can't tell them. They're going to spaz out. So it's like, yeah, just gotta.
And it's made me a better person because it made me like, you don't want to abuse that, right? You have this trust. You don't want to abuse that sacredness that you have with your mother and that trust that you have with each other. Because she can lean on me, I can lean on her. So, and I can lean on my siblings and my father. But it's still a sacred relationship that you have with your mother.
But I think our relationship is different because you grew up with me in that, like, a lot of time. When you went away to Bowie, I remember you coming back and I was like, who the hell are you? And what did you do with my daughter? And why is she now an activist? But you taught me a lot about the system I was living in and didn't know I was living in and how it was affecting me. So I think we also have to
I felt it
take
in
that
my
lesson.
Spirit, like I had to go back to my family and tell them the truth. Like I was like, I have to come back and tell you the truth about these things. I had to tell her that perm was crack for a Black woman. Like, you cannot put perm in your hair.
It took me a long time to finally let it go.
You can't put the perm in your hair.
Even though I do kind of want to go back to it, but you keep telling me not.
She loved her perm, y'all. If y'all know my mom, some of y'all know.
Y'all know
Roxanne. She always had her perm ponytail with her athletic wear. and was at the gym. Like, that was her. My friend Kiana, she says when she thinks of my mom when we were younger, whatever, that's the picture of Roxanne.
I know.
She says every time she sees you, she's like so shocked to me because she was
got
like, that's not that's not your mom that I remember. Your mom that I remember always had her ponytail, always had her ponytail down her back, and always was at the gym. And I was like, yeah, that was before, not before you were delivered, but that was you too, because that was the woman that raised me. But you're the woman that raised me too. Like, because you heard me and didn't think that I was crazy and didn't.
And I kept saying I wanted to do it. I was like, I need to get rid of this relaxer. I need to just do it.
So that's actually perfect. Mention how understanding perspectives and can lead to growth and respect. Because she respected and loved me enough to respect and to trust what I was saying, we was able to grow. And I was able to probably extend her life so that she don't use perms no more on her head. And whoever is still using perm, that's okay. But know that you using the crap. You need to give it up. It is sickening. It's not good for your hair. Look at me, y'all. We out here with our afros today. And you know what? We're in our background. We have the nature around us. And we're talking about key components for a strong relationships between mother and daughter, but in period.
So we talked about the bonds over time, maintaining a strong connection. Well, we'll go over those tips, but trust. Next segment, you were talking about this.
Yeah,
we're in the nature and spending time together, and how one of the things that we love to do together are, well, we used to go on walks a lot more, like even just to go hiking.
Now we like to talk a lot.
Now we just do it around our neighborhood, like.
But that's one of the things they have too, right? Talking.
Yeah.
Like, oh, hold on. No, don't do it. Because we do nature walks. We do beach outings. Now, Yasnita's posted up at the beach. We love the beach. Spa days. You see me posted up at the spa.
And our collaborative project.
With my mother and sister. We are definitely out there at the beach. Beach is something that us as a family, we love doing together. But
the projects are like the house projects. We just help Dad
do his gazebo.
The gazebo project.
But and I think because my mom, because of the type of mother she is, I'm able to be a good big sister and aid my siblings in whatever it is, because she has given me that foundation of how to be supportive, how to listen to someone when they're going through something, how not to be a break, how to get your point across.
And we just talked about that last night. Remember, we were talking about someone that we were supporting, and I was like, if somebody is, if you're applying pressure, and your brother was talking about no, Dom, because I was saying no, that means it's some signs are signs to back away, and you were like, no, that means you just keep, and it's like, no, sometimes you have to back away, let somebody else, so that you're not just hammering.
And that's a good tip. Like, that is something that someone with good communication skills and good bonding skills would pick up on. Because me being a person that, works in these high stress environments, we need results, So I'm like, if I'm asking you to do X, Y, and Z and you're not doing it, what you mean? Now you fired. But she's saying, no, we're going to have to try from a different angle then, so I can get the same results. Now I need to act differently. Now we need to do something else so that I can get this result out of you. And that's just helped me become a better person, a better everything. And I think even career-wise, I think it was more of me when it was like, I think it was a skill and it was a tool that my parents used or to get me to my greatness. But it was definitely like no room for error. No room for failure. But it definitely was room for error and failure, because nobody's perfect, and no one is perfect. So out of all my errors and failures, they never even addressed me on it. It was an internal feeling for me that I wanted to be great for them, that I wanted to make them proud. But in all reality, I was already doing so. Yeah, you don't have to do anything in that. So to have open and honest communication, emphasize the importance of creating a safe space for sharing thoughts and feelings, discuss how open communication can lay a strong foundation to the relationship. I told y'all about that. Even from when I was younger.
Even now, we don't agree with stuff. Like earlier, we were talking about the podcast. And Dominique was like, well, you're kind of getting smart. And I was like, no, seriously, we don't have to be stuck to this. Yes, we talked about it. well, gotta do it if you don't want to do it. And I think we talked about just not being even rigid in your plans, in your convo. Yes, you could have thought we are going this way, but it's like, okay, we could just change. We don't have to do the same thing the same way. If I'm trying to think of another example, like you had wanted to do something or not do something, but that's like one thing I think all of us have learned,
being flexible.
Yeah, just like we don't have to do
and
that.
Being human,
that thing, we can change our mind.
That like we do the scheduling thing all the time, and sometimes the scheduling thing and all of that crap can get overwhelming. Overwhelming. So building trust and empathy, offer practical tips for building trust, practicing empathy. And that's practicing empathy. When you realize it's overwhelming, when you realize pressure's not making the diamond, it's breaking the rock down.
Yeah.
Like you had said in your example, and trying a different way and creating empathy. Like, okay, I have to try it a different way with you. I have to do something different. And that's about building trust.
And I think we always forget that as humans, we're always growing. And after 24, you're not growing physically, you're growing mentally. And each thing is a different, you probably can talk about this more. Each developmental part of your brain that is getting more mature, it's going to be times where it's like, oh, well, I don't need to have a meltdown anymore. I can just not do that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like to do it anymore, Mom. I don't want to do Christmas.
Tell you.
Or,
I can actually just
I can just tell you. I don't have to.
But it's
so we got to be open to that.
But
too.
in order to communicate, and that's why it says open and honest communication. But in order to feel comfortable with honestly communicating with someone, you have to be able to trust that they will hear you, and that person has to be able to show empathy and trust what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, and I think we do that a lot. Like I have to get right here with my mom. I say that to a lot of people, like even when you're talking to kids, like you have to get on their level of understanding of whatever it is. And sometimes I feel like me and my mom, we be in two different places
all the time.
But sometimes we get right here and it's like, no, I need you to get right here with me so that we can talk. And I'm talking to you.
But you know what? That's exactly what we just did an hour ago.
Hold up.
I was like, you need to keep up.
I'm trying to talk keeping up. Yeah, I'm trying to talk to you. And we're talking to each other, but we're right here. We're both.
Because we're both creatives too, which I think
sometimes we have to get back and it's like, okay, hold on. Taking off Roxy and Nique, and I'm talking to my mom.
Right.
And you're talking to your daughter, you know, and having that is a great thing. Having that is a great thing because I know that I can trust her. She knows that she can trust me. And just having that. But, it's something that I feel like everyone can accomplish and have with your family if you use these steps.
And you said listen to learn too.
Listen to learn. And examples of shared activities, listening to learning, talking to each other, nature walks, beach outings, spa days, collaborative projects. We do all of those. And that's probably why we've been able to get to this point in our relationship where it's like, we can do that. Like, we can do that.
I think not having, you talked about this in our one of our first episodes, not managing your expectations, because I think I remember now when you were saying yesterday that I said I was fine, but I wasn't fine. I think it's always a recalibration of what my expectations are. Like, it's not going to be a totally clean house, Roxana, and everyone's not going to kick in 100 because everyone doesn't have 100% to kick in. And we have to realize that. And that was me yesterday, I think, the come to Jesus moment of, Lord, I cannot do the things. Help me to do the things I can and let go of what I can. I was asking her what's wrong. And it's like, but I had to tell her too and get on that level of, girl, I heard you, but I don't know what you want me to do. Right. Because I'm operating at my maximum capacity as well. So it's like, so that's so funny because I know you guys can't see me right now. But it's like when you're both working at your maximum capacity, and having those conversations are important because you'll make each other frustrated, or you'll think that's when misconceptions come into play. Yeah. When you think someone's not doing their best, or you don't even give a fleet when that's not true. So that's why you have to have those. And I think, but that's a maturity thing that I had to go through. Like, wait, everyone's operating at the best they can. And if anyone feels like me right now, which that day just was a crazy day. So yesterday was a crazy day and it was a lot. Then I can't hold anyone to more than what I can even do at this moment. So we drank Prosecco last night all together in our brand new gazebo. That's what happened last night. I did not clean up. And I think we got to make space for when the times that we don't feel good for each other as mom, daughter. Like, okay, mom is not at 100%. Daughter is not at 100%. Come together and make the space to be healing for each other.
Because I feel like people, they harbor that and they hold on to that. And that's why people be separating and not talking to family members for a long period of time, because you're holding on to something where it could have been communicated.
And it is hard because I went through that. You go through that where we do like, and I guess that's also a spiritual thing though, because they say, did you know this? Unforgiveness is like a spiritual thing where we can't forgive ourselves. We can't forgive someone else.
That's why they said the forgiveness is more so for you.
Yeah.
Because, and also I had to learn this. I learned this several times over, and you learn this when you mature. It was you. Like, yes, that situation was bad that happened to you or whatever, but you was there.
Yeah.
You was there. You was still in control of yourself. You know, and I think my aunt actually is the one that said that to me and made me, and yeah, you get angry at your motherfucking self.
Yeah.
So yes, I have been angry at myself before where it's like, you know,
what am I
but
doing?
If you forgive, it's like, I simply didn't know any better. I know better now and I won't do that again, or I won't put myself in that situation again. Or now when this type of person is presented to me, I know now. Yeah. I know now myself better than to engage or to entertain a person that was made me upset before previously, because it's you that's made those decisions. It's you that continued on in the talk. It's you that it's you. Yeah. So I think that's very true, that it's something in you that you're not even forgiving your own self for those. And I think once I was able to do that, I am doing a good job. I think I am making my parents proud. I mean, it was after that, it was like, oh, I make myself proud. So you know, just forgiving yourself for not being perfect. I think that did help me a lot, because I was very angry and I wasn't able to forgive people. And it's still a couple of people that I don't like, but it's like, it's on me too. Yeah. Like I would say, it's things that I didn't like in the past that have happened that were on the people, yes, but it was on me too. Yeah. Because who responded back when you were saying that stuff to me or doing that stuff to me? It was still me there. So, you know, and just forgiving yourself, because maybe you were sad in that moment. Maybe you weren't all the way consciously there, but that's okay too. Yeah. And setting healthy boundaries. So good lean on into this. Explain the role of setting boundaries and respect each other's perspectives. Discuss how this contributes to a stronger and more stable connection. Yeah, we're definitely more stable now. I feel like I was up and down because it was just, I blamed her when it was like say I would tell her I would tell my mom a situation and she ain't respond the way that I thought she was going to respond, or tell me the things that I needed to do or whatever. Having those healthy boundaries. She don't know it all. And it's not her fault that she don't got the right answer to whatever my issue is. It's not my mom's fault for whatever situation I done put myself in, and she's not going to be the problem solver for all of those things. Yeah. And that's having that healthy boundary, that she's my superwoman, yes, but she's not a superwoman. Like, that doesn't exist. So she's being the best person that I know her to be, that the best version of herself. So it's like, I only having those healthy boundaries, because I just remember being angry all the time like that. Like, you should have told me, and I asked you for your help. But
I think that's a thing that we all go through, because I remember being angry at my mom. Maybe not for the same thing, but just being really angry around your age. Like, what in the world? Like, I feel like you could have done better explaining.
Yeah. And it's like, they only did the best that they could with the knowledge that they also had. The fuck? Like, bitch, what you thought? Yeah. So that's, you have to have a healthy boundary and have that connection too. And I think us being transparent about those things, and her actually telling me how life is and what she go. Now I have that understanding. Now it's like, here at 30 or about to be 30, I now understand. Like, okay, thank you. Thank you for sharing me what you did. And thank you for telling me the things that you told me in the way that you did so that I didn't fuck it up for myself.
Yeah. And I think it also helps, like, I have you to like bounce things off of, and Laura, but it's like a lot of times we can discuss our siblings and stuff because we're both the oldest. So it's like a lot of that, the roles that we play in the family, you can understand it. It's a little different for you because I'm still alive, but when my mom passed away, just thinking about how to move forward. And some of the boundaries is we can't keep up all the traditions mommy used to do. Mm-hmm. And it's okay. And maybe everyone didn't want to do it to begin with. So that's also okay. But not really making yourself have to fit into something that does not work for you. That's like a healthy boundary.
I think this is something important to share and talk about. And I don't want to cry, but this is a really sensitive. You pulled a heartstring. I'll say this. You do want to have a good relationship with your mom and your grandmother, because the person that I seen after my mom losing her mom was I was very sad. It's something that you're a daughter that loves your mother and stuff. And like, it's something I can't even explain on how you have to be there and what you have to do. It's about to make me cry thinking about it, but it was like, I knew it was imperative. At some point in time, the roles are inverse, where you're taking care of your mother because she just lost her mother. And, it's a pain you can't even imagine because you're consoling your mother.
Yeah.
So it was like you put on your big girl pants and your motherly hat because you know how you would feel if you lost your mother.
Yeah.
So it was like in that moment we were able to get close, and I was able to really take on what it was to be a woman in the family and what it was to be that support, how to be a daughter.
Yeah.
But I already knew how to be a good daughter because I've seen my mom and her sisters take care of her mom and stuff. But it was like to see in your face the effect that your mom does actually have on you. Because I'm going to be a whole different person once my mom is not here anymore. My mom, Roxana, the person that you see in front of you, is a different Roxana that was previously here, but she's stronger. She's now back to her. You are the same Roxana, but it was like, only love and care could have, and a person understanding that relationship that you have with your mom and telling you that you were a good daughter and telling you, no, you did all of the things. She was proud of you. She loved you so much. Could only understand. Like, only I could have done that for my mother. Only me and Laura could have been there for our mother and really lifted her back up. All of your children, Tony, Michael, Laura, only us could have done that because we've seen the type of grandmother grandma was to you, what type of mother grandma was to you. So that's why I'm saying that. Like, that's why it's important to have a mother and daughter relationship. Like, I had to console my mother for her mother, So that was something that was so, I was like, and I didn't expect it. That's the crazy thing. It was like, I didn't even know that that's what was happening or that's what I was doing until my mom actually told me, thank you for being there for me and supporting me. Like, I just thought I was just doing the normal thing, being there. But some people don't even understand or care about their mom's feelings to console her during that time, but I seen it. So I seen the sparks or the dimness. So now she got her spark big, so we don't gotta worry about it anymore. But it was like keeping that same light that my grandmother had, and reminding Roxana that she still had a job to do, being a mother. Yeah, that her job and her journey wasn't over, and that you were a good daughter, and that you did serve your purpose, and you supported Grandma Sanchez to the T with everything that you wanted to do. You were a great daughter.
Thank you. That was definitely the biggest heartbreak of my life. I don't even know how I got through. Because it definitely broke my soul to pieces. And we weren't prepared or mature enough to even think that she could possibly die, which now I understand death and dying way more in a deep, profound level of like, we're all going to die and that's okay. And it can be beautiful. It's okay. And I think I didn't even have in my mind that was an idea before.
Yeah. Maybe too much TMI, but I had to tell Roxanne, I said, that's how Grandma Sanchez wanted to go. She kept saying she wanted to go in her house. We took her. That's how she wanted to go, y'all. So it was like, and I had told her, you did a good job. You did all the things. You did listen to her. While she was here, you were trying to do her health plan. You wanted to save her. So I get from all ends and I understand. But yeah, I think that was just one of the most, but being the oldest,
it's a lot of responsibility.
You're gonna have to you have to buckle up, Buttercup. And that's why I think I have that relationship with my mom and my dad, because it's like, I'm gonna need to just soak it all in because I need that. And that's what it's saying here. Share strategies for addressing and resolving conflicts effectively. Highlight the importance of emotional well-being and seeking external support when needed. So what I like to do and what I do a lot of the times, resolving conflicts and stuff, I get quiet and I will kneel. So it'll be like, whatever it is, I know how to be kind of submissive to it and kind of let it happen until it don't work no more. And then we're going to do it my way because we're going to execute it right. So,
and I usually will get mad at you, but it's like, a few moments. Whatever, we're doing it the way you want to. Or I've seen this with both of us. We circle back. So if I'm an ass, I'll be like, yeah, I'm actually sorry. I didn't mean to. I was having a fucking meltdown.
Yeah, so sometimes it goes like that. Highlight the importance of emotional well-being and seeking external support when needed.
Oh, I forgot to say that too.
Our external support usually are other family members. Go ahead and call in and tag in a family member. And that's why I do like having multiple siblings. And multiple, but see, I see value in that. Like, this is value, seeking external support when needed. That is a tool. It's a tool that it's telling you to reach external support when needed. Yeah. Some people don't see a value in maintaining the relationships with your family members or extended family members. This tip is telling you right here, highlight the importance of emotional well-being, because when you can't do it and it's too much for you, you're going to have to call in some reinforcements and external support that you still do trust to help you aid this sensitive situation right now. And that those people are your extended family or the other people that you also bond with and that are also in your family.
Like maybe a family friend.
Yeah. So
it could be your sibling, it may not be.
Yeah. For me, that's always been a very important thing. I'm a person in my family that talk to all my cousins that go, and I'll pop up to the family stuff and be there because those things are valuable to me. Those are important
for people. Yeah.
So that,
and friends.
It's not even that I'm here for you so that when I need you, you're there for me. It's just the inverse thing.
Yeah,
I care, so I know you care. Like, it's just that. It's not even so that I know that I have this here or that bank. It's so that I feel comfortable of, you know what? No, I'm not alone. I actually do have,
I actually do care about me.
Yeah, I actually do. And I have all these different extended strings of memories and love for different people for different reasons. Like, and that is what's important. It's telling you right here, external support when needed. So not all the time, but that's just something of value. And people just don't realize that is your value bank. That is your network. That's what's going to help you get through those rough times when you can't do it alone.
So, you just made me think about when we went bowling with Tamika, and I was like, I want to take a picture of this. I want to remember this because
we did
for a while, I was just working and doing and working and doing. But it's like you have to, when I saw her, it was like we just picked up right where we were.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she needed that day, that, oh my God, you're so great. Like, oh my God, you're so fun. And we need to remember to keep doing that. And I remember I have reached out to your aunt. I've reached out to Charlie, and I was like, I just want you to know you're a good time. And I loved hanging out with you when we went to the pool, and we need to do it again. And it's like, she was like, you have no idea. Like, that day was just a bad day. And I needed to hear that. And we need to not only say that, we need to actually take the time to do it, because those are the things that are going to get us through the hard time of motherhood and daughterhood. It's like, wait, this person is so fun. Like, we do this together. They're helping heal my soul. We got to make sure we're always doing that, you know?
So one of my favorite relationships are bonds, and people sometimes don't get it or understand. I'm one of those cousins. I have all boy cousins. Like, I have some girl cousins. I do. Let me not do that, because I do have girl cousins too. But
they're younger.
My older cousin, right? But my older cousins are Charles. Charles is my older boy cousin. And we hung out all the time when we were younger, and hung out when we were young adults. And people just didn't get it. They were like, what the fuck do y'all have to do to talk about it? But it's like, through that,
but he's a good person, and yeah, he was a good person.
Through that, I was able to, learn about his daughter. We took her to school sometimes. We bonded in other ways. And now that she's older, she remembers me.
Yeah.
During those times where it's like, yeah, that's your dad, but you have a girl older cousin that you can hit me up about stuff. And I know you, and you know me. Like, it's like, just don't sell yourself short in those circumstances, because you're like, well, what can they do for me, or what is it? Sometimes it's not that. Sometimes it's the future. It's a intangible, what do they call it? Untangible, right? Thing that you can't see. And that's why. And I remember it's been a few times that I've called on no lie. I was sitting on the side of the road. My cousin don't even live in the same state as me. I'm sitting on the side of the road. I call him. He answered right away. What's wrong? What's going on? I said, child, nothing. I just need to be on the phone because I'm on the side of the road right now. No, what the hell happened to your car that you on the side of the road? Blah, blah, blah. Where's your father? And I'm like, I done called him. He ain't answer. I was like, but I'm going to talk to you for right now. I said, what you think it could be? Right. I was like, what you think it could be? Just talking to him, chilling. Then my dad did call me back. I'm like, all right, let me call you back. And then I just, just for that support. But but just in general, things like that. But that's what you're supposed to do. And that's what it's there for. And I hope my family members know, and I know that I'm there for them. And it ain't nothing that I won't do to make sure that the love is there and that it's reciprocated. Okay. You want to lead us in with our last tip for this segment?
So we did go over the mother-daughter bond over time, tips on maintaining a strong connection, which is the communication, forgiveness, boundaries, respecting each other's boundaries, spending time together. And we gave some examples: nature walks, spa days, beach days, and the special projects, even if it's a house project, right? Decluttering, you're spending time together. So I think lastly, and to bring it up the rear, I also, you didn't say this, but one of the last outside sources that I think you could use is a therapist. That also, I don't know if you remember last year, I was really still repeating the same things about, I could have done more for my mom. And a therapist literally
kept saying that. And I was like,
walked me through the steps. So don't feel bad to like get a therapist or, get a group to help you, because they can help you think outside of your normal thinking pattern and break down why you even think that to begin with.
I hate the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, because
it's so terrible for no reason. It doesn't help.
I say it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Especially if in a death situation, the woulda, coulda, shouldas, they are the stealers of joy in future.
And time. I wasted so much time.
Yeah, I'd say it's the stealer of it. Fostering forgiveness, and that's what it's about. Discuss how forgiveness can strengthen the relationship, provide tips on handling conflicts, grace, and understanding.
So we talked about that.
I'm trying to think of a time I had to forgive you.
All the time, because you always think I suck for something.
No, but I'm trying to think of like a time I really had to, and I think I did touch on it a little bit of thinking that you know all the answers.
Yeah.
And it's like, so this could be of us transitioning from how a mother-daughter bonds transitions. From when you're younger, you do think your mother knows everything because she's telling you and advising you all of this. She's telling you what to do and she makes your schedule and stuff. But then it gets to a point where you're like, I'm learning on my, not only are you rebelling, but you're learning it on your own. And you have to also have the concept and understanding that your mother was a woman once upon a time too. She just didn't share all her stories with you. Oh, so maybe she didn't share all her truths with you, but you better share all your truths with her. It's like, let me stop. But I'm just saying it like that
because I do share truths.
No,
with you. That's saying, why you trust me,
right? But I'm saying it's like you get to that transition point in your head, like, oh, my mother was me at one point. Not me, but she was a teenager, a young girl at one point. So that's where she's talking from.
Yeah.
And no, she may not know it all, but she's saying from
fucked up enough that you don't have to do the same fuck ups.
Yeah, I would say she's saying it from what she knows. So that's all she can do. That's all she can do. That's all I can do. So,
right.
Yeah. So we're here to real life examples and inspirations. We've been giving y'all that this whole time, but we're gonna give you a couple more.
And I think also, look, it's always going to be times of contention when we're growing and going through different things. And if you are not at that point with your mom and you've had some serious disconnects, serious distrust situation, that's okay too. Because I feel like we get stuck in this thing. Well, it has to be like this. Mm-hmm. You could go to Christmas for 5 minutes and leave. You could leave a gift and keep it moving. Mm-hmm. You don't be stuck in, oh, I have to do this. No, it's okay if your mom and you didn't get along for a lot of serious reasons that we're not going to talk about now, but it's like, it's okay. Yeah. Don't feel like it has to be perfect.
Yeah. I'd have to agree. Yeah.
Just forgive the part that you can forgive and give space for your feelings and your healing to keep moving. Because basically, if you don't forgive, it's just a hindrance to you. So I think just think of it that way. I don't have the mother wound, which is a great podcast. There's something called a mother wound podcast, beautiful because she talks about healing through that trauma of your mom not loving you and accepting you. I had the flip side, which is my father probably wouldn't even know who I was if he walked by me on the street. And for a long time, that was a hindrance to me. But I had to forgive him. Because if not, I would have just been bitter.
And you forgive so that you can become a new person.
Yeah.
Because when you forgive, that's a skill and that's a feeling for you. Yeah. Like, I don't want to give the example that I want to give, but it's just much like Christ. Like he says that you're not perfect. It's nothing that you can do to be perfect, but he forgives you and loves you and shows his mercy anyway. And every day you do something to fuck up. Yeah. So it's like, it's like, that's why. But, so we're talking about hip hop women's golden moment. Discuss.
We don't have time. We're going to have to do that on Instagram. Maybe we'll do that on Instagram Live.
Yeah, because I think that's going to be a good one. But I think that we definitely did give you guys the tools and tips that we have used over the years. I mean, I can actually probably just close it with this. I remember when I was younger at Patapsco, I did go to the counselor, and even the stuff that I had told the counselor, and the counselor went back and told my mom took those things.
She actually did not. All she said was Dominique had came to me. She's having a tough time.
No, but my mom took those things and she tried to make it better. And she was like, oh, and she internalized them like, oh, well, do I need to do this? But it's not even just about that. It's just, knowing the tools and communicating what it is that she said. I remember the counselor telling her, girl, no, you're not doing nothing wrong. This girl is being dramatic and she's trying to manipulate you. That's why I said I wasn't always a good child. I don't know why she lied.
But I know
I was good. I used to be lying to the teachers every day.
It's like it's stuff that we can support each other with and do better with. But thank you so much for listening to us. We will have a couple of series on this topic.
We are, because we're the Dynamic Duo.
Yes, and at Not Vanilla, we are tackling all kind of different conversations around relationships, love, work, everything. We are the white table talk. Usually we're at our white table, but not today. But anyways, like, comment, subscribe. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening. And thank you for listening to Not Vanilla.